Standing on the balcony among blooming flowers, a stoic Riche is startled as her name is called out. A frantic man rushes toward her, desperately exclaiming that he has finally found her. Scaling the stairs in a panic, the man admits it was his fault for foolishly letting his attention wander when Riche seemed fine on her own. Riche sighs at his repetitive excuses, but he doubles down, shouting that he has no intention of marrying anyone but her. Unmoved by his clingy behavior, Riche coldly declares she will never get back together with a man who cheated on her with her own younger sister. A mysterious, armored knight suddenly appears behind Riche, prompting a confused, "Huh," from the onlookers. Outraged and confused by the stranger's presence, the man accuses Riche of infidelity and blames her secret meetings for their broken engagement. The man refuses to hear about another lover, while Riche's companion questions if he truly doesn't recognize the person standing before him. As the persistent man begs for another chance, a sudden physical confrontation or movement occurs, signaled by sharp sound effects. The man is sent sprawling onto the floor in a daze, leaving the onlookers shocked. Standing tall beside the knight, Riche firmly tells her former fiancé that he is already a man of the past. The complex dynamic between Riche, her former fiancé, the knight, and her sister Lilia is framed against a backdrop of betrayal. In a flashback, Harkin comforts a weeping Lilia, telling her that seeing her cry makes him suffer as well. Riche recalls the painful moment 1 month earlier when she first witnessed her fiancé's betrayal. The scene looked like a popular romance drama, featuring two protagonists lost in their own world. Harkin whispers words of love before sharing an intimate kiss with Lilia. Riche interrupts the tryst, demanding to know the exact meaning of Harkin's actions. Lilia and Harkin are caught off guard as Riche watches them, wishing this exchange wasn't happening between her fiancé and sister. Riche reflects on her harsh appearance and strong-willed features, which stood in stark contrast to Lilia's frail, charming, and protectable nature. She remembers how Harkin was the only man kind to her, taking her places to cheer her up whenever she worried. Harkin's past praise of her being a wonderful woman had made Riche's heart flutter and gave her a sense of salvation. Motivated by his supposed love, Riche had devoted all her time to studying etiquette and refinement to become a woman worthy of him. Despite all her efforts, Harkin ultimately chose her adorable younger sister, Lilia, over her. Caught in the act, a stuttering Harkin tries to claim that the situation isn't what it looks like. Riche points out the hypocrisy of him kissing Lilia and whispering passionate words while barely touching his own fiancée. Harkin can only mutter Riche's name, unable to provide a valid defense for his actions. The tension peaks as Riche prepares to sever the relationship once and for all. When Harkin begs for a chance to explain, Riche shuts him down by asking what there is left to discuss regarding their engagement. Looking at Harkin's pained expression, Riche bitterly notes that she is the one who was actually hurt. Realizing they cannot continue, the path toward a formal dissolution of their bond begins. Riche upgrades the split from a simple dissolution to a formal, legal engagement annulment. Harkin is horrified by the mention of an annulment, but Riche insists it is necessary since he and Lilia have confessed their feelings. Lilia weeps as she apologizes to her big sister, admitting she knew it was wrong to fall in love with Riche's fiancé. Suddenly, Lilia appears to collapse or struggle to breathe, causing a massive commotion as Harkin rushes to her side. Their mother arrives on the scene, immediately alerted by the sounds of distress. Riche watches in silence as her mother approaches the chaotic scene. The mother ignores Riche, focusing entirely on the distressed Lilia. Turning on Riche with fury, the mother screams that Lilia is suffering because of her and demands to know what she did. As Riche stands stunned, her mother tenderly asks Lilia if she can breathe. Riche is left wondering why her mother is always exclusively on Lilia's side. The narrative shifts to 1 month after the incident. While Lilia was bedridden with a fever, Riche was blamed for the stress and punished with 2 weeks of room confinement. From behind closed doors, Riche hears the maids discussing how Harkin keeps visiting but is only allowed to see Lilia. Restricted from meeting Riche, Harkin settles for visiting Lilia with flowers before he leaves. The staff gossips about Riche's uncertain future and whether Harkin and Lilia will actually end up engaged. It is revealed that the annulment procedures are only moving forward because Riche insisted on them so strongly. Reflecting on the past, Riche acknowledges she once held special feelings for Harkin because he treated her like a girl. The consequences of the split turn financial, as it is declared that the compensation must be paid from Riche's own assets. As part of the compensation to the Marquis Achette family, it is suggested that Riche offer up the land her father granted her. Distraught, Riche protests that the land is precious to her, having been entrusted to her by her father when she was 15. Riche's mother berates her for being selfish, claiming that even while Lilia suffers, she only thinks of herself. Riche protests the absurdity of the compensation, arguing that handing over her land would be a devastating loss for their house. Despite her mother's order to stop her disgraceful behavior, Riche internally resolves that she cannot back down from this confrontation. The argument is suddenly interrupted by a maid announcing that the master of the house, Lord Teal'c, has just returned to the estate. Both Riche and her mother are visibly stunned by the news of his sudden arrival. Her mother is frantic, noting that war reports indicated he wasn't supposed to return for several more months. In the ensuing chaos, her mother commands Riche to sign the deed for the land later and bring it to her immediately. Clutching her documents, a tearful Riche realizes with relief that her father's return is not a dream. Throughout the hallways, the household staff gossips about how the master could possibly have returned from the war so soon. Speculation grows among the servants that something significant must have happened to allow the war to end earlier than expected. Riche stands ready at the estate entrance, her expression a mix of anticipation and anxiety. She is startled by the presence of an unfamiliar figure among her father's returning party. A mysterious man in a hooded cloak stands among the knights, looking nothing like the household's usual guards. The group comes to a halt as the family prepares to greet the returning lord. Lilia and her mother offer a warm welcome to Lord Teal'c, expressing their deep relief at his safe return. Lord Teal'c acknowledges their greeting, moving past them to acknowledge his eldest daughter. With a soft smile, Riche tells her father how truly glad she is that he has returned safely. Her father is amazed by her growth, remarking on how beautifully mature she has become in the 2 years he was away. Lilia interrupts the reunion, clinging to her father while curiously asking if the hooded man is a new mercenary for the household. Riche realizes the hooded man was standing right beside her father, marking him as a guest of significant importance. Lord Teal'c scolds Lilia for her foolish questions, ordering her to bow because the man is a lifesaver of their army. The mysterious figure speaks for the first time, simply stating there is no need for such formalities. The man lowers his hood to greet Riche directly, apologizing for the lateness of his own introduction. Riche is struck with shock as she recognizes the man as the kingdom's heroic knight, Sir Kaizen Vihara. Kaizen addresses her with respect, stating it is an honor to finally meet Lady Riche Handre. Meanwhile, Harkin sits alone at a desk, staring at documents with a look of mounting desperation. Gripping the papers until they wrinkle, Harkin frantically vows to himself that he will marry Riche regardless of the current turmoil.